Before we get started, obviously, I know Coach and Josh mentioned it. Our thoughts and prayers are with the University of Virginia football program. Tony is a friend of mine. I coach with Tony, and I can't imagine. So, unbelievable. Go ahead.
Have you ever experienced anything like that as a coach, where something happened with a player that on your team?
Yes, multiple times. But it was just one isolated incident. Not that. I mean, that's one family that's heartbroken, one football family that's heartbroken, but not three. It's unimaginable.
Did you talk to your players at all about that kind of thing, just life lessons?
Sure, absolutely.
Worried or...
Yeah, I mean, we're teachers, and we're teachers of life first. That's the beauty of the game of football, is that, yes, it's a game, and we've really made it very complicated and complex, and it's got its own challenges, but there's a lot of life lessons in it. We're parents in terms of to the players, surrogate parents, if you will. We're teachers. We're got to be on them about homework and going to class and those kind of things, and then all the things that happen. Not just just like 9/11 happened one day, and we're in the middle of football season. We got a game that week. You got to address those things, and you just don't walk in and throw football on. If you say you care, you got to show them you care.
You ever had coached a game with a performance like Cam's 3 interceptions?
I tried to think of that. I've been around a lot of turnovers in a game where we got a lot of turnovers. I can't remember if it was one guy. That one I can't remember. I don't think so. 3 picks in one game is pretty. It's really good football, and we kidded him. He actually dropped another one, so could have had 4. But that's a coach. We're always trying to find a way to do better. And then on top of that, 3 picks, and one of them be a 99-yard return. He was just trying to, make it as big as he could make it. There wasn't 1 yard left.
And you coached at Clemson for a couple of years. What's that environment like? What's it like as a coach on the home side, and as a visitor? What do you tell them?
Well, I've been both. Went back, coached there.
Mm-hmm.
Then before that had gone there before that had gone there with Florida State. So I'd been there with Florida State, then coached there. Then went back in, I think, 16 and 17 with Auburn. We went back one of those years they came to us. So I think it was 17 we went back up there. I've been there many times, and it's a special place. The fans football is very, very, very important to them, and they show that on Saturdays.
Coach, what do you think about, or how do you think Wesley Bissainthe played in his first start?
Well, he's played very well this season, and as we told you very early, the migration to the point we're at, we saw that coming very early, that it was going to get there. We were a little concerned about throwing him in the fire too early and him losing confidence until we saw that confidence grow, and then it was time. So it was not a surprise at all. He's played well in the games he didn't start. And we push all the time, you need, a bunch of starters, 18, 19, 20 starters, because you've heard us say that, and that's a fact. But for a freshman to start a game in college, I get it. It's a big deal. It's just the first play, so he may have played 50 plays a game before, and it wasn't but 64. But to play that first one means something to him, and he was pretty excited with it. He handled it like a pro, played very well, but not shocking.
Where has he grown the most over the course of the season to earn that starting spot?
Just understanding the defense and the concepts, being comfortable with it, and not having to rely so much on others to tell him, you got this, you got that, bump here, slide here, push to 2, those kind of things. I mean, the older guys were helping him some early on, and now he's out there telling them what to do. Confidence is an amazing thing. and he's got a lot of confidence right now. On top of that, he has a lot of ability.
Coach Cristobal mentioned that Wesley is the starter. Can you talk a little bit about the conversation to him, kind of letting him know that he was going to be the starter and his reaction to that?
It wasn't, we just told him last week, and we communicate all the time. Those guys are pretty conditioned. It's been rotated in there some. He just wasn't one of the guys that had. There's been multiple different starting groups in different positions too. Because we make such an effort to get them to understand, again, I understand externally what people, I understand that's news, but to us it's really not news. Playing the first play, you know, I've been around guys that played first play, and you look at the end of the game, they played 13 plays, and the guy that played this, you know, the seventh play played 50 plays. So which one you want? You want to play the first play and play 13 plays, or you want to wait 6 plays and play 50 plays? So we've kind of conditioned them to that. We don't make a big deal about it, so that change is not a big deal. That happened on Monday. No reaction.
Mario mentioned that, like, he was joking that, like, you know, sometimes he'll be in the building late at night and the only person besides him still there is Cam. Is that kind of film study, that work ethic, and that's clicked this year, or has it been there, like, since you guys got here?
Well, since we got here, it's been there. You know, Cam's a very smart person, very mature person. He's very steady. He's not up and down emotionally. Very mature, and so he has the ability to compartmentalize his academics and do it like a full-time student, and then be a pro football-wise and do it like a full-time football player. And that's a gift sometimes, and sometimes it's learned. I think in his case, it's a gift.
Coach, what kind of challenges does Will Shipley present?
Well, speed, hard to tackle, really good vision, one of the premier running backs in the country. He's going to get the ball, there's no doubt. You've heard that old, I think there was a show or a book that said, "Where's Waldo?" You better know where to try to find him. You better know where Waldo is. You better know where Shipley is, because he's going to get the ball.
Especially with the ability, you're speaking on, but to catch the ball too, you got to pay attention to that. Your guys, that'll be a focal point as well as.
In terms of what now?
That he can catch the ball, that he has.
Well, they get it to him, like I said. I mean, the ball's going to him. It's not just handing it to him. They throw it to him too. So a lot of their offense is designed to get him the football.
Anything else for Coach Steele?
Defensive line, was kind of beat up this past week, a lot of injuries, and LT comes out in the middle of the game. I mean, how do you see the group, the guys who were playing, how they kind of reacted to having to play with less depth?
Well, that's the thing about last week. The first thing you need to know before I get to the frustrating part was that was the most complete game on video we've played. Conceptually, the concepts in which we were on top of. There were very, very few errors, very few violations, very few loss of gap. It was very good execution. It was by far and away the most complete game conceptually, applying execution with it that we've had. And there was no question of that. I mean, it's very clear. It was fun to watch. Now, there was some frustration there because we started substitute late in the game. I think they had 261 total yards, and then with some of our young guys, we had the opportunity to put them in the fire, not practice field, and they moved the ball a little bit, and of course that was frustrating, but it was a blessing too, because they now know, hey, this happens a lot faster than it happens on the practice field, and you got to be on top of this thing like you're a starter every week. They felt it now. They don't have to just hear it. You got to prepare like you're a starter. You may be out there. Well, after 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks and you hadn't been out there, do you really prepare like a starter? Well, that's the growth process. Well, now you touch the stove, it's hot. You need to go prepare like a starter. So that was good in a lot of ways, because we spent as much time on the last 20 plays of the tape as we did on the rest of it. The rest of it was very good. But teaching those young guys, because we're going to need them. There are a lot of young guys out there. To answer your question about, again, we go back and we try to keep a large group of those D linemen prepared. And I know sometimes people, well, why isn't he out there? Why didn't he, why is this? Why is that? Well, now you know why. You don't want the first play in a crucial situation of a guy to be out there playing that hadn't played all year long because he's standing watching somebody else play, when you're trying to keep them fresh and have other people prepared. Because when you play the position where you got 300 pounds lined up on this ear and 300 pounds lined up on this ear, it's a hard job. And the wear and tear of a season puts you in a situation where you have to have multiple people. And those other guys went in there, they really, really did a good job. I mean, better than a good job. They did their job to the fullest, and it was good to see.
Coach, Cyrus almost got himself a sack on Saturday. I'm just curious, what have you seen from him development-wise over the course of this year?
Almost? Where's your standard there? No, I'm just kidding you. You hit on a little deal. There was 3 sacks we left on the field in that last drive, so that's why you kind of hit a little nerve. I mean, 3 clean sacks, real clean sacks, game over sacks. And so, Cyrus is a long guy that is trying to develop his body. He's a long, linear, basketball build guy that the weight room is helping him. He had a good spring, but then there were some other guys that came in that are more physically ready to play. He's very close to that, very, very close. He's really, really a sharp, it's important to him, and he's got a skill set. He's got a skill set to rush the passer. We need to get that sack though.
That Tyree Stevens tackle for loss, was that designed that way, or was that something that he saw and he snuck?
No, that was a corner cat.
It was?
It was a corner cat. Now what threw people off, and really, we talked about this, sometimes they may have thought the motion triggered it. It didn't, it was called. That may have been why we didn't get any more motion that way. But that was not, it was a call. It was a call. It was just, sometimes they go real fast, sometimes they don't. And on that, they were in pistol, and you saw the back go line up there and still had time. So that one was kind of easy.
Explain.
Last question for
what is it
Steele.
that Cam Kinchens does well in between the lines? We know he studies, right? But he seems
Eyes.
to always be.
Eyes. People don't understand. You do not have any idea. Eyes are as important to a football player as they are a NASCAR driver with 50 cars around them going 200 miles an hour. You better have your eyes on what you're supposed to have it on, and he has phenomenal eyes.